I have played for 20 hours, 250 games, and I ranked top 8 player in the world right now on the arena. And in today's video, you will see how you will get all the tips and you will get basically the full package, so you can do the same. So, prepare and enjoy. Hello everyone, it's Love here, and today guys, I'm so envious that you will be able to watch this video. You will get everything today. You will get full gameplay with all the commentary, and I will show you exactly how to be top 10 mythic. It's easy, I tell you. But before we start this video, I want to ask you guys for one thing. I actually spent around 30 hours making this video between laddering, editing, all this stuff, and I actually didn't have any live for today, so please support this video because it would crush my soul if nobody watched it and it was worse than every daily video. I put a lot of effort into this and I think there is really a lot of value for you. So please share, like and subscribe and leave a comment for the algorithm. That really helps and I think it's worth it. Alright, you will also in this video get an actual deck guide for Boros. And you know, we are roasting Boros a lot, but this will be a serious guide. It will be like 16 minutes or something. We'll talk through every decision, every scenario, every card. I will evaluate what I liked about this deck, what I didn't. After 250 games, I have some opinions on this one. So I think you will really like it, especially if you are competitive about Magic. This is definitely a video for you. If you are an aggro player, this will make you a better aggro player. If you are a control player, this will give you insight in how the deck works so you can punish it the best. So honestly, if you want to keep winning in current standard, this is probably something you cannot really skip because Boros right now is one of the two most popular decks, the other one being Mono Red. You will also see all the detailed stats. We will go through all of them. You will get every matchup and I will tell you my honest opinion after laddering. I will tell you how it felt, how it started, how it ended. There were some upsides and downsides during this whole journey. So if you laddered, I think you will appreciate, the full experience, and I will tell you everything. It will be the honest laddering experience. And of course you have everything in the chapters, so you can find it easily for your convenience. And guys, I just realized, like, if we are a top 8 Boros player, top 8 aggro player in the world, I guess I'm a Grandmaster of aggro. Now I can roast every aggro deck with guilt-free conscience. Alright, I hope you will enjoy this as much as I did, or even more. Have fun. Alright guys, so. We absolutely take the draw. Alright, I think I know what we are doing. You generally want to start with the red mana, because you need the second red mana for Gleeful Demolition. If you start with Inspector, it will be a bit harder. Our opponent is with humans. He probably plays... we will see. And this is very close to perfect draw. We don't have Knight of Eos. So, that's a human. Do we attack? No. You need to make this trick. This is a very fun trick that you can only use in this ordering. First you do this. A land. This is not a bad land. I actually will take it. Now we go for this, and we can use a second scry. Because what we sacrificed was tapped. If you do Gleeful Demolition first, you cannot do... you have 5 creatures basically, so we cannot double trigger this. So our opponent played land and the 1-drop, and it's way too slow for Boros. And this is just insane. So he's nearly out of the game and he didn't even start to play. Alright, gaining life, that's great. And attacking, because he knows he won't block. However, with the War Leader's core, we probably are already winning this game. And that will be such a massive damage that he probably is out. He doesn't really want to trade with the Bannicorn because it's a really powerful card. The problem is that he has 8 life already, and we have War Leader's core, and he doesn't really have a way to remove it. And we're at 19, so he kinda wants to kill us. Bannicorn will hit for 7 or 8 probably. But then we can just... Oh, alright, that's huge. This is exactly what he needed. Live gain. So he's basically playing the different Boros version, the one that is aimed at winning mirrors. So let's see. Their version is basically aimed at our deck. But we are on the play, so you know. We can deal 4 damage instantly. If not this Gleeful Demolition, he would already lose the game. Even with this build. But we'll see. We can go with the Warden and just go by air, which is probably what we'll be doing. We need to be a little bit careful because their scaling is higher thanks to Bannecorn. Alright, they decided they have a room. Alright. I'm curious about it. Do they have room? So they will get hit by 3 creatures at least, so it's 4 damage. I mean, yeah, I guess it works. That was a good decision by them. Alright. Just making sure. So 5 attacks. He wants to block with this, and he gets good traits on both of them. So we definitely need to give Warden flying. Yeah, I mean, we just go like this. And that is already a lot of damage. We'll sacrifice a crew. So we can go this, this, and this. That will save us 1 instance. This is not really what we need. If we draw this 1 turn area... Oh man, I could actually draw it, but I would be mana short, so it's still not good. Alright. We deal a lot of damage. Can we kill him? I don't think we can. So we probably need to be defensive right now. Alright, how many creatures he will have? The maximum... They definitely have Recruiter. We need to block Bannecorn, Knight-Errant of Eos. This is 8 damage, 10 damage, and 3, 13. That should be okay. So I think we tap this. Shouldn't be a huge issue. Definitely not around for the next turn. I'm 1 damage short from killing him, by the way. Alright, I think that should be enough, right? Man, like those 1 damage kills are so close. We could just tap those 3 and we would be exactly at 7 damage to his 8 life. Alright, he needs to kill us in this turn. From 19 with 4 blockers. On 3 mana or 4 mana. I don't think it's possible, that's why we went with this plan. And this is also showing you why Warden is so extremely important in this kind of matchup. Warden is like the 2nd best card in the deck. Okay, 3rd one, because it's Gleeful Demolition, Knight of Eos, and that's the 3rd one. But very often it's just the main card that carries you to the victory. So I think he will try to analyze all the situations, but I don't really think there's like any way for him to get enough damage. Anthem is not good enough, alright. If they don't have a land, they already gave up the Recruiter plan. They generally don't play removal, so they cannot kill Warden. My guess is that they might... Alright, no. I think Warden is the only remaining card. Okay, they lost. There's nothing. And this was mostly because I believe we're on the play. On the draw, they would win. Like, if they were on the play, we wouldn't be able to hold their attack. Right, that's cool. So they're fishing for some mistakes right now. Everything is tapped, so we can just go what? Here, and this is what, 6 damage? Sure, go for it, champion. We got some good trades, so we are also getting ahead on the board. And I mean, we tap enough creatures, so I mean, this is already 6 damage. So yeah, we won because we were on the play. Alright, let's see it. Not the best draw, but acceptable one. I think it's acceptable. I don't love the Thran Portal. I personally don't super like this card. This will probably be our turn 3 play for white, I would guess. Visitor. I see. Alright, do we play Sokenzan? Will we use it later? It could be useful. But Eiganjo is probably a little bit better. We don't have creatures because we missed 1-drop, so we cannot kill this. So we instead will try to get it at 2-2. We don't have... Man, missing 1-drop is devastating. We won't have 3 creatures. I even want to trade this. Alright, good. I'm happy they didn't attack. That helps me. Alright, alright. Honestly, I think we still play it, because that's the last turn when it comes untapped, and we don't want, you know, to waste more. I could kill one of the creatures, but I don't have good attacks. I don't really accomplish much. Still, they don't pump, you know, creatures. They might have ossification, but they don't have basics. They might play basic ossification and double remove what I have, which would be a really bad case. That's a hard one. I really think we should start going a bit more aggressive with Evangelist. Worst case is that they ossificate us, but we need to take the risk. Alright. A counter. Those counters are deadly, but I hope we can make them work in our favor. Alright, this is the turn when we want to attack. Not very mana efficient, but it is what it is. Go like this. Alright, do we attack with everything and give him the trades? He will definitely take the trade on the Evangelist and the dog. He probably won't take the other one, so we accomplish 6 damage. I don't think it's worth it on this turn. This is our big amplifier for everything. We didn't flip the case, I guess. But with Eiganjo, I think we will get better trades on the next turn. We can also use Recruiter to full extent. Like, you need to go super wide before you go, you know, for the kill. One mana. What they will go for? Audacity, maybe? Or this guy. Alright, they have another one. That's not great. That's okay, that's an extremely powerful draw. Alright, let's go for it. I won't block with this one. I don't think we die, but we might. We might. So let's go for this one, because this will be the sacrificial creature, maybe. This is actually okay. Do I go for this play? I will have one blocker. If they Mishiko, they might double Mishiko and the land. So enchantment, Mishiko, doubling, and that will be like a lot of damage, but I think we can afford this one. So. The plan is to play... I mean, the problem is that he sees exactly my play for the next turn. It's Epicure, Inspector and Recruiter. We just full swing and try to kill them. And you know, we could flip the case, but at the same time, it would cost us our main amplifier. And for example, this Evangelist deals 3, 6, 8, 9 damage, basically. So that's a lot to invest, you know? And you want this one huge devastating turn generally. We could also not attack with those creatures, and then we can Eiganjo, but I don't think it's worth the damage. They probably don't want to attack, really. Listen, math, as we all know, is for blockers. Alright. I will have to pay myself, but that's fine. I also can use the clue. Oh, I won't. I won't be able to, but I can use the blood token. Alright, let's go. Let's go and do this full swing that Boros is known for. And everything is amplified. So as you can see, that's quite a lot of damage. They will. I think they might survive this, but most likely they will have to trade like basically everything into the board just to survive. And I still have my spells, you know? Like I have a clue, I have a cycling, I have a case that will get flipped, so the second attack will be as well very, very strong. We don't even need to check what they did. As you can see, they traded nearly everything and they still died. Well, good at magic, I guess. What can I say? I mean, guys, I don't know what's up with this hand, but I will take it and I will play it. And one of us will win. The guy that will get the better cards. So let's see, who was the guy? Was I the guy? I'm on the play, so I'm insanely favored. But it might be nullified if I don't draw anything except those cards. Like right now I have going white, and I lack any kind of scaling. And the Boros works because it goes white and then it scales. So every creature that you have basically gives you more mana, more power, everything is amplified. So if you like this second part, you're just a very, very bad aggro deck. Drawing plants, exactly how I like it. Perfect. What are you? I'm honestly not sure yet. Of course we are going with reinforcements, then we play reinforcements, and then we pray that we get a good card from the top. Alright. Frontliner will add a lot of damage. More lands, thank you. Alright, I needed few more lands. I still don't think that I have enough. So far, we didn't draw a single point of value outside of the opening hand. If we're on the draw, we would already lose. Alright, we play more stuff. Gleeful Demolition. What does it mean? I think I know how we play it. I think he will block a 2-2. That means we kill the Hammer Skull. And potentially Gleeful Demolition the Frontliner and use the haste for the next round. That will get rid of one of the problems. Because we don't have much time, we don't have scaling, which means that, you know, we will die very, very soon. Like, we need to go super wide. And this is the moment when playing Recruiter wins you the game. But you need to draw it. And that's the most important part of playing Boros deck. You need to draw your cards in correct order to win the game. I drew the cards in correct order to win the game. I'm good at magic and I deserve all the wins in the world. This is how silly the deck is. Whatever. I play cards. Mythic. Wow, that is a very bad draw. That is a very bad draw. But with Warden, if we can get a single land, you know what? Oh, the problem is that this is Dimir, right? So probably our Warden dies. So that will be a problem. Okay, that's a land. That's pretty huge, man. Alright, we play the land. Novice Inspector. We do it like this, because there are more creatures this way. No reaction. Frontliner. If they have a counter spell, they can counter this. Which is okay. I can steal a 1-drop. And we go for the scry. We probably want the land. That's a good land. Alright. Alright. And we have some pressure in the board already, so that's good. And they will play a land and pass the turn, which will be a problem. It's hard. Oh, that's perfect, man. That's so good. That's actually insanely good. Alright. So how do we go about it? Evangelist creates a lot of more pressure. But the call is so good when we play. Oh man, this is harsh. I want both of those cards. I really want both of those cards, and I want more creatures so I can pump the Warden. I think this is as good turn as we will get for this. And 5 damage is no joke. They don't want to trade those tokens, and that's a correct decision. They can take some damage. The point is that now we have pressure in the board. We also have some, you know, instant spells, and if this doesn't get removed quickly, this will be worth it. If they remove it instantly, that's not the best. Like, it's not worth 3 mana for 2 damage. We need to scale it harder. Tapland is extremely bad for them. That means they probably cannot double spell this turn. Alright. Alright. Interesting decision. Interesting decision. Alright. So the next turn is a Sunfall turn. They are playing control. Wedding, yeah, this is a normal control deck. Man, I cannot focus when I'm on this, like, when I'm recording, like, no joke. I just think about people complaining about I'm playing slow, but I need to focus, alright? I think this is the play. It creates creatures, it deals damage directly. It will be kinda hard to kill Jace, to be absolutely honest with you guys. And we can tap like this. We don't get flying yet. This is pretty acceptable. This is not a bad draw. It's not farewell turn, right? I really like Jace, but I think we need to keep just, you know, going harder with this. If he doesn't sweep on this turn, we will have Resolute Reinforcements. Like, I also wanted a lamp, alright? Yeah, so they will go for Warden. They did it because on the third counter, this will get vigil. Oh, alright. Alright. That's interesting. That's interesting. Right, so they have a lot of stats right now. However, do we have enough? That's the question. Do we have enough? They cannot farewell, so this is safe basically, unless they march. I think we go Warden into Recruiter. Yeah, let's go. See what happens. You can see how much damage the call does. Alright. We just want to attack here. No reason to attack with this, right? Let's go. They can double block and get some good trades, but then they will get more damage to the face, right? This block should also say if they have a sweeper. This feels like a sweeper. Alright. So I expect a sweeper right now. Alright, here we go. We got a clue. I didn't see this one. This looks nice. And -2, I would guess. This is the moment to -2 and probably -1 the Emperor as well, unless they're super greedy. Yep. Because follow-up Recruiter instantly kills them if they don't do this play. I know where to find all the answers. Alright. I think we pass the turn. We will use the crew, go reinforcements. They see that there's Mirrex, and we need to get them with the call probably. I think we try to play 5 creatures, maybe. It's hard to know. Well, by the way, we didn't get the main deck strategy and our draw was pretty weak. If we had better draw, the game would be already over. But, you know, we didn't. But that's something you will find when you play Boros. Every game will be basically decided by your opening hand and who's on the play. So, we probably want to go with... They play counter spells, and this is human. So let's go and see if they have reaction. They cannot counter it, but they can kill it. Uncounterable? Cause why not? And we'll draw a card. Yeah, they probably have a counter spell, it seems. I need to draw something that isn't a land. So let's see if we're good at magic. I mean, that probably works, right? We could also go Resolute Reinforcements into case. Alright, so I believe we won the game, we just need to do it right. If they have Emperor, they will remove 2 creatures, basically, and life gain to 5, but that kills them. If they have double removal, that's kinda the same, right? I'll risk it for the biscuit. Let's go. They might kill the call. That would actually be probably the best play. But honestly, I think they have White March and I think they will win. They need to exile a lot of cards so they can remove enough creatures so they don't die. Just killing call should be okay. Because that's the base for all of our damage. It amplifies the creatures, so instead of 8-8 we'll have 4-4, and it will remove 2 damage from the face. So if they have March, I think they will win. It will be hard to do anything about it, to be honest. Yep, here they go. Good for them. Good for them. That's the card they needed to win. And I honestly... Oh, so they also need a removal. They probably have it, to be absolutely honest. So I don't think they will have a problem. Oh, I guess that is a problem. But this is one of the situations I'm always, roasting more the aggro decks. If they had a removal in the hand, I think they would win because they are on the verge of stabilizing. What's up? Our plan is to play spell every turn. Yeah, I know, bro. I think it's lame, but what can you do? What can you do? Yeah, I can fully relate. Our opponent has something, maybe, but I have no idea. I don't even care. I don't think we can win this. He's main phasing Yotian, which is kinda weird. To be honest, that kinda gave me an option to be way more aggressive than I expected. Our opponent is frustrated, and I'll be honest, I have, I fully understand him. Cool. He's playing at sorcerer speed. I think he's seen enough of this stuff already. I can take the damage, so I don't need to care. Yeah, I know, man. I know, man. It's kinda lame. So let's go like this, deal some damage, and basically try to hit my opponent in the face and see if that's enough. So, I mean, if he has a lockdown, we probably lost. If he has a Sunfall, we probably lost. If he doesn't have any of them, there is a chance we win. Alright, that's a lot of removal. Alright. Alright. Oh man, I can absolutely relate to frustration of our friend. So we will use the screw probably to draw a card at the end step and try to reload for the next turn. So we are going this. And this is a card. It's not a recruiter, but I don't think we can hope for a recruiter, to be absolutely honest. We just need to take any damage we can. And we want to attack with 3 cards, so our next plays are a little bit stronger. Let's see, if he draws a sweeper, he wins. And if he doesn't, we win. That's a sweeper. Sure. Yeah, I honestly think he wins. I don't think we can get there. And he shuffled, right? But that's fine. We might find something even better. Like, Recruiter will give us a lot of creatures, so we just take it. I guess I'm the aggro player. Alright then. And you really want to cast it now because they are tapped. And they need sweeper again. Alright, Union. Our opponent is playing a live game sweeper deck, so... Yep. I mean, we've all been there. So, let's play uncounterable humans, I guess. They probably have 1 removal. So maybe we just go with Recruiter. Yeah, let's try go for 2-turn kill. 6 damage is no joke, he doesn't really want to get there. Oh, that's perfect. That's the only spell. Oh man, that's so perfect, because he can still counter our Recruiter if we play it. Okay, it's uncounterable, I guess, but you get the idea. Alright, fully tapped. Fully tapped. So what do we go for? I will draw a card and see what we get. Well, that's a bad draw. Alright, so we will go with Mirrex and try to go white. This is a random card, and he didn't draw a sweeper or Memory, so we won. So yeah. I understand my opponent, like, it is what it is. Well, this is extremely bad hand. I mean, we take it and we pray. I mean, that's what you do with aggro, right? You take hands and you pray that you draw the correct cards to win. This might be the correct card to win. We have 1 red mana with Mirrex. If we draw a vampire, that will be a problem. I think we go Eiganjo. Honestly, Eiganjo is better. So we are not in a great spot, but it might be not the worst spot. The real problem is that we are on the draw. Our opponent has basically exactly what we have right now, and he's on the play, so if that continues, he will win, because he will kill us first, and there's nothing we can do. So right now we really need to hope that it will reverse at some point. I know it's a weird play, but I honestly think we need to go with Vampire on this. And I mean, we keep doing the same stuff. If he probably always has Knight of Eos, right? So he will be always the... See? That's why we did it. That's why we did it. But we are on the draw, so our opponent will have Knight of Eos, and when we tap to play ours, we will probably die. And this is why going first is the most important thing you can do in Boros against Boros, or Boros against any kind of matchup, basically. Here's the Vampire. I'm pretty proud that we played with this strat. I can see Warden, like they kinda whiffed on the Warden thing. So I think maybe we can use it to our advantage. I don't know, man. But that's something we might get with Knight of Eos. I don't fully plan my turn yet, so bear with me. I'm trying my best, alright? I think that was a pretty good math on the taps. We have 2 big creatures, and they all matter. And this one... so we need red mana, annoying. We have a Vampire. So this will be for red mana. Obviously we cannot attack. Man, our turn was stronger than his turn, so it might nullify us being on the draw, but I'm not sure. This is a very strong... No, they just threw the game. Bro, that's not how you play the deck. They literally threw the game right now. Alright. Definitely an oopsie, bro. Like, oh my god. Alright guys, going first with extremely bad draw. Oh well, I wonder how this one goes. Is this better? I don't like this. I'll be honest, I don't like this card at all. But sometimes it wins games, so you know, it is what it is. We definitely need human, otherwise we can play cards. We are on the play. We have 2 turns of gameplay, and then we are on the mercy of Shuffler. So let's see if we can roll. Our opponent has the bad 1-drop, we have the good 1-drop. But it won't matter if we cannot activate Gleeful Demolitions and go around. So, let's see. Scry is extremely important, and this is the game. I mean, this works, right? This is the win. I think we just won the game. I don't care what our opponent is doing, he's on the draw, and as long as we get the perfect draw, or at least close to perfect draw, the best he can do is having perfect draw on the draw, which is always weaker. And our Warden should start killing him soon. So we played this. I'm going this, and do I want to attack him? I kinda do. Let's go like this. Land. Yes, that... I think we won the game, guys. I cannot believe how good at Magic I am. 1, 2, 3. Now we attack for 4. And we also have Defender. All of this is because we got the good 1-drop and my opponent got the bad 1-drop. And I mean, with the War Leader's Call, he will be in some insane trouble, right? He might have also the perfect draw. Very often they have it. And this feels like Knight of Eos, right? I wonder if they feel that, okay, they got the good 1-drop, but it's very late. Let's see what their strategy is. Alright, they're just going for it. I mean, they could absolutely win. Their draw is better than ours, but we are on the play. Let's see what is more important. I mean, I know what. I know what. Alright, so we play land. We don't really have a choice here, we just play the thing. And now the question, how hard do we want to go? Boros against Boros is kinda unique because being defender and aggressor is kinda the same when there's recruiter, because everything has 1 toughness, so as long as your creature has 1 attack, it can trade against anything. So, I think we can tap 3 of them easily. If we go all in, we hit him for 8. True. Okay, so we don't kill him. That is all we need to know. If I tap, I have 4 blockers. I can block 4 creatures. Recruiter, so Recruiter, this, and this. That means 8 damage goes through, that's not enough to kill me. So I think we can go like this. 1, 2, 3. This also gives me the scry. This is weird. I kinda want to go for the kill. This is not the card to go for the kill. Like, this is the card we needed last turn. We want something that creates artifacts so we can deal 3 damage directly and have blockers and this kind of stuff. Alright, they might go Epicure Recruiter. That is absolutely the best case they can go for. And because we drew the Warden first, their Warden cannot really block us. So this is just a question of, okay, they have close to Recruiter. But if they go all in, then they cannot defend, so they're kinda in, you know, very weird spot for them. This is weird, and I think it should win. I don't have enough mana to go Gleeful Demolition. It wouldn't win the game anyway, right? Such a weird situation, but I think I know what we are doing. This. Because our opponent needs to kill me in 1 turn. And I have Mirrex into Gleeful Demolition, and that's already 3 damage. That means if I draw any creature on the next turn, I instantly kill him just with War Leader's Call. And he's out. He lost the game. And you ask why? Because I got the better 1-drop. And I was on the play. And there is no decision that he can make to mitigate the advantage I'm getting from being on the play with better 1-drop. Their 1-drop is 2-3, mine is 6-7 with Vigilance and Flying, which means he cannot attack and he also cannot really defend. The best way he can go about it is probably tap as many creatures to have a flyer, in which case we just go super wide, we deal damage in the different way. So whatever he does, it's always not enough. Sure. Like, he can do whatever he wants. 3 damage. I guess there is a small... No, because Might is already 1 creature. So we actually already have the 4 damage. He didn't even wait for attack, so he couldn't defend even our 1-drop, and we already had 4 damage at instant speed, basically, when he finishes the turn. Well, next time be on the play, bro. Did you have... Bro. Not the best draw. Man, it's insane how hard it is to get to this, you know, demolition on turn 2 into Knight of Eos opening. My opponents just keep doing it every single day, like on every second game. I don't even get this kind of draw like once every 10 games, man. That's crazy. And because our opponent is playing control, we play it before they can normalize it. This way they need 2 cards to answer it. Of course they don't need to. And yeah, we just attack. So, we know for sure they don't have instant removal. No. They don't have instant removal 100%. They might have normalize. if we play Resolute Reinforcements, we are guaranteed to have a decent start. If we go Evangelist, they will counter it. We are in some serious problems. Or troubles, should I say. We can kinda play around stuff. This is a very risky play. I think they have a counter spell, but it should be a risk that we take. Alright, they don't have 2 mana instants all together in their hand. So that was a good gamble. To be fair, if they had no more lies, I think they would win. But they're bad at Magic and they didn't draw the card. And we're also on the play. Alright, so this is extremely strong opening if we play it right. That should be we don't have Knight of Eos, but we have nearly Knight of Eos. I think we need to play this right. Because we need double red, but we also need white mana. This is a small puzzle already. Because we need to have double red by turn 2. And the only way to do it is either use Thran Portal as red, which means we cannot play the rest, or go with the vampire first. So, we play this. You really need to nail those things, because if you mess them, you will miss damage for no reason. And this way you can double scry, which is huge. Yes. It's probably not counter spell deck, but it's still okay. We are going above cut down and all the like burn spells. Sure. We don't have Recruiter, but we still need 3 mana to play Recruiter. Alright, let's see. They want to hit Warden. Alright, they got it. Very good for them. Very good for them. And this will be human. And right now, so if they have a lockdown, they win the game, right? If they don't have lockdown, we win the game, right? Well, that's fun. Do we go with Resolute Reinforcements and Warden on the main phase? Can we win if they have lockdown? I think we just roll the dice, man. This is what you do, right? This is what you do. That's... So we will win the game if they don't have a lockdown right now. So let's roll the dice. Let's see it. Are you good enough to play lockdown on turn 3? I think they are. And we lost them. Okay, we won. This is what I was talking about, the cut down. But it doesn't matter because we are really good at Magic and we drew this. Which means that he's dead. Quality gameplay, guys. Quality gameplay. So right now, even if they lock down, they will probably die to just, you know, creatures randomly dealing damage. Oh, it feels bad. Well, guys, he didn't draw the lockdown. So he was just bad at Magic. Alright, and now we are entering the part of the video when I decided to really try hard. And this will be a voiceover because I actually had to play without, you know, any kind of talking. Because I couldn't get good win rate when I was talking. I actually was stuck on Diamond 4, and when I stopped recording later, it went way better. So right now we are in the weird situation when we don't really have red mana for the Epicure unless we name Cavern of Souls on the vampires. And yeah, that was the decision, because I kinda want to play everything. However, I don't have red mana for the Recruiter then, so it was just a very weird situation. However, the point is that you still want to have open Gleeful Demolition, and you need red mana, so even if I draw a mountain into Gleeful Demolition, I cannot play both really easily, because I need red for the Epicure. So I just decided to go planes on all the humans that I want to play. Here's Mirrex, so this could be red mana for anything that isn't a vampire. And right now, this is the Warden, right? Because we need to pump it. And honestly, I was pretty scared at this point because the Picnic Runner gets buffed to infinity, so 16 damage with this card is very easy to do. So I just decided to try to pump Warden as soon as possible. We don't want those kind of cards, and my plan was case, just to play the case and have enough creatures in the board so it deals enough damage. I believe we were on the draw, and that is always a problem with the case. If you are on the draw with the case, it's hard to get enough creatures. I think he couldn't go through our Warden, that was a 2-3, and that was a quick game, but I think we made a good call, and we were lacking 2 ticks. And here our opponent said hello, so maybe a fan on the channel, or off the channel, and man, I was super scared, because I needed those wins. Right now, in this game, I'm 2 ticks from Mythic. I really need to win this game. So I usually want to play the Forge first, especially if like our opponent is a control deck basically. So we know that our life total doesn't really matter, and having red mana, sometimes you play Warden, sure you need white, but sometimes you draw red Epicure into red Gleeful Demolition, and if you played white land, that means you cannot do this play. So I was very worried of this, and I was scared of a removal. Fortunately, it's just Harvester, and man, I was so happy seeing Harvester, because that means, yes, you already know, we will double pump the Warden, which means 4 toughness, which means that unless he has another Harvester, 4 toughness, not 4, 5, 3, 4. So unless he has another Harvester, he cannot remove Warden with, the Harvester ability. And that's huge, because Warden right now is our biggest power play. As you can see, we don't really have Knight of Eos, which is how you go absolutely broken mode. So we kinda still needed to play a little bit fair magic. Man, this was harsh, and right now I wasn't sure. Obvious play is to go, the Vampire for 3 mana. But this creates more stuff, so I just decided to go a little bit all in on the Warden triggers, and especially like treasures and clues are so great, like you don't lose anything and you get free value. So I tried to go as high with the Warden as possible. Also, I knew that if they play Grixis, they definitely play ill-timed Explosion, so we really want to keep the toughness as high as possible, because sometimes they won't have expensive cards to discard to them. So generally 4 is like a sweet spot that they always can deal. If you go above, that's sometimes enough to win the game. So this is why I'm going so hard. Like I just want to tap literally everything and get Warden with the highest possible toughness, especially that they didn't kill it so far. So very likely they can't do it. They already, like on this turn, you know that they will kill it if they can. So I decided to attack just to make sure if there's a reaction, there's something, because our opponent is still playing blue. It could be a counter spell, and right now I'm kind of scared about it. So I didn't go with Gleeful Demolition because of it. I decided I have Resolute Reinforcements, I can still play at the end step, and if they don't play a sweeper, like my board will probably try to kill him very quickly. And if he has a sweeper, I play reinforcements after everything is swept, and it's still good. And Vault, we could go Gleeful Demolition on the Vault, but it's not worth it. And I guess he didn't have a sweeper, because I think he would try to play. And man, 1 win from Mythic. I was so excited here. Alright boys, if I win, this will be the last game. I remember this was my thought going into this game. I decided to literally tank on every single possible decision as long as possible. I could not misplay. I didn't really like this hand. We don't have artifacts, Resolute Reinforcements, but no Knight of Eos, and the case is sometimes horrible, but if you meet a creature deck, it can be used. So right now we are kinda in a bad spot, man. Instead of Gleeful Demolition into Knight of Eos, into just Scoop Mastery, we still go with, Reinforcements, 2 mana to 2. That's not the spot where you wanna be. Our opponent missed 1 mana creature, which is insane. I mean, it's not insane, but it can happen finally. So I was super happy to not see 1 drop. So right now I'm literally making an artificial stop so my opponent doesn't attack, because I don't want to block. that was not the play. So I wanted them to not attack because that would miss them to damage. So it kinda didn't work, but that was the idea. I wanted to show them that I have Resolute Reinforcements, hoping that they just won't go for the attack. And here I think, man, the case is so good here, right? So this was the play. Either I go case, but this is not mana efficient, and this is a horrible moment to go with, 2-drop. I have double 3-drop. I don't have 1 mana plays because Gleeful Demolition has no target, and that was the decision between the call and the recruiter. However, they both kinda do the same thing on one turn, but Recruiter is 3 extra damage because it itself is a creature. War Leader's Call is not a creature and you miss this 3 extra damage. I learned it the hard way, so, after this was like close to 50 games. I knew what I'm doing at this point, and I knew how devastating can be when you lose 3 damage with this kind of deck. And you can always play the War Leader's Call later. Also, I have Mirrex that can activate Gleeful Demolition, so already in my mind was I want to play the call, set up so it's not super slow, right? I wanted some value on the same turn, but then we go Mirrex, we make a token, Gleeful Demolition, that's 3 extra damage and a 6/6. Man, 1 mana, 6/6 and 3 damage to the face, like what the hell? And this is War Leader's Call. We know that he probably has some burn. 2 untapped mana, he didn't use anything, he's mono red, it has to be Lightning Strike. I think I expected Lightning Strike at this point, because it's 2 mana left, and it kinda behaved like that. So I knew that one of the creatures will die, and I wanted to keep pressuring, because this War Leader's Call was kinda the play that wasn't supposed to get me ahead, it was supposed to keep even, because Gleeful Demolition will get me so ahead that I will win the game probably from there. That was my idea. And if he plays a creature, I go case. Like, the problem is I don't have too many creatures right now, so it will probably be 2-turn thing. I got absolutely surprised with this. Like, I didn't expect a goat, alright? Goat charging in my face in my final mythic game. Oh man. So here I could go Evangelist into case, but the goat is like I'm at 15. Goat is not super scary here. And here I kinda deliberated, because it was either Evangelist or just go Gleeful Demolition and Mirrex, and I wasn't really sure how defensive he can be. He's at 11. It's quite a lot. If he plays like 2 creatures on the next turn, it might be hard to just, pressure him. So I decided that I will go Evangelist on this turn, because then you have this amplification effect. Of course, we first attack, see what happens if they go for the burn. And there was one more thing about playing Evangelist. Look at this. We know he has a burn. He has 3 untapped mana, but Kumano is not flipped at the end step. That means that if he kills Evangelist right now, we will get the bat, and he doesn't want to give us the bat, which means that it's very hard to kill Evangelist right now, which means that probably they won't get the best value they hoped for. So that was a big, mind trick in this play with Evangelist. And on the next turn, of course, Kumano flips, but then they need to untap, and then they need to play in their main phase. So if they go Lightning Strike, that cuts their turn in half. So suddenly the cost is pretty high. And yeah, the bat in this situation is huge, because it not only is a 2/2, so twice normal stats, but it also deals 1 damage. And you can already see it. He was at 11 on the last turn, now he's at 7, and we have 3 damage in the hand. Of course, they can move this, the suspect counter, but it doesn't really matter because both are 2/2 with basically haste at this turn. And our opponent is having less and less cards. At this point, I knew exactly what the card is. They only play this one, 1 red mana. Whenever it faces up, it deals, damage that it has power. So I knew that I already can get insane damage if they pump it to 6 attack. It's 12 damage basically if they attack with it. And I didn't really want to attack with block with the Evangelist, right? I don't get anything, so I just took the damage. Also, it has mana, so I wouldn't be able to, but I actually didn't notice it. So, man, at this point I knew I need to get rid of this face down thing. Like, the rest of the creatures are basically 2/2s. Yeah, I just said, man, I'm thinking as long as it is needed. And I think I wanted to go for the attack. Right now in my mind is just I want to sneak 4 damage because nobody expects 3 damage in the face randomly. Especially that I have no artifacts, so it seems like meh, like he probably won't have everything. But we do have everything, and I wanted to make sure that it gets the job done. Here, if you want to kill the faceless creature, you need to pay 4 mana. That's a lot. That means that's the only play for the turn. I went with the attack. I fished here for a 3 damage, because if he doesn't block and goes to 1, I win instantly. So that was a little bit risky here. But with Gleeful Demolition, I have more board than he expects, and every good trait I'm getting. Like, is insane. He didn't allow any damage. And that means we get 1 good trait, which is insane. And I mean, I think this is Gleeful Demolition turn. There are no other plays right now. And that means that on the next turn I can attack with, the goblins. So right now we trade perfectly. He cannot attack, he cannot really defend as well. And he's at 3. So he has 1 draw to win this game. Man, at this point it was like, man, is it happening? Am I going to Mythic? Yeah, at this point I knew that it's probably a good game, because this is 1 random draw. It's hard to imagine what he needed to draw to win this. Man, he's playing actually really nicely. Keeping some blockers. Well, yeah. So we don't want to trade, we just want to go all in. And I mean, that's 4 damage on board, right? And a little bit styling, alright? We decided to style a little bit on our opponent, and he was very for play, so that was nice. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how we reached Mythic. 20 hours of laddering, 250 games of aggro every game, and we finally did it. But I couldn't be more excited for this one. I really hope you enjoyed the journey. I hope you watched the games, even though they were, aggro games, but I think they were really cool ones. Like, I tried to pick the best ones. And at this point, it was just the big question. What is the final rank that we got? And I went directly into profile. Just show me. And man, when I saw this, my heart went up a little bit. I was so happy. I didn't expect this high position. I thought it might be top 50 Mythic, but not top 8. But, I hope you guys really enjoyed this part. I was so happy, honestly. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Alright, guys, I'll be honest. I'm extremely tired. I've been playing 20 hours in 2 days, and I just reached Mythic. And I'm recording this outro on the stats while it's still fresh. So let's talk a little bit. Man, it looks so nice, doesn't it? This is just one of the runs. Look at this, man. I played exactly 247 games. Nearly 250 games in 2 days in 19 hours. I mean, I better be this top 8 Mythic for this kind of engagement. Look at our winning streak. I think we won 14 out of 16 games in a row. I only had 2 losses in all of this. That was the huge winning streak. We won't go through all the games, I think, but you can see that it was a struggle. I actually had some insane losing streaks. When I started playing today, I had 5 losses out of 6 games, something like this. It was harsh. And let's talk through the stats. Look at this. If you are on the play, you have instantly 23 additional % win rate. On the draw, this deck is basically unplayable. It's not even tier 2. It's this lower than 50% win rate. However, if you are on the play, you have nearly 70%, which is absolutely nuts. That's interesting thing. Look, this is 57 games. So the most popular deck right now in the meta, that at least that I'm playing, is Mono Red. Second is Boros, and that fits. Nearly every single game I've played was basically a mirror in some kind of aggro, and whoever was on the play had some insane advantage. So it felt kind of hopeless when you're on the draw, especially if you didn't have perfect curve. If you miss like 2-drop on the draw, like that felt really bad, and you can see it reflected in the stats. Like every matchup is like some kind of aggro. It's interesting. The third most popular deck was actually Azorius Control. That's the only control that was really popular here. And yeah, it's like those stats are nearly 50% right now, but earlier this day I had like disastrous win rate. I think 35% win rate or something, but in the end I won a lot of games, so it kind of evened out. But that was really bad matchup so far against, against mono black. Look at this, we won nearly everything. I actually couldn't win against Grul. I'm not sure if that were bad draws or maybe they have just more aggressive decks. We didn't play too many games, but yeah, those are the results, guys. Nearly 250 games. Oh my god, man, that was insane. I actually wanted to give up during making this video. Like when I was stuck at Diamond 4 for I think 3 hours. I think 3 hours of this 9-hour session was me being Diamond 4 and I couldn't get positive win rate. Like it was all like actually for the first 20 games today, so this run, for first 20 or 30 games, I was below 50% win rate. I think I had around 45% win rate. I couldn't rank up, man. And suddenly it just went on and we suddenly started ranking up like crazy. All right, I hope you enjoyed the stats, guys. Like I may be, not the most entertaining, but I laddered for 20 hours with Boros. It's a miracle I'm alive right now. So I hope you guys had a lot of fun. I think those stats are really interesting and I wanted to do something like this for a very long time. So yeah, finally we can talk about, not just roasting aggro decks, but now we have the hard data and 8th best player in the world right now using an aggro deck. So your friend Sloth not only plays control well, but also aggro decks, it seems. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments. I really want to hear your thoughts. Just tell me whatever is on your mind after seeing the stats, this run, those games. I hoped it was interesting video. The deck itself is super boring, but I think this is like a nice gem, right? We see all the stats, we know exactly which matchups are good, which are bad, and I'll be honest, I think I played the deck very decently. Can those stats be better? Yes, I think I misplayed few games. Hard to say how many. I think between like 5 and 20 of those games. Could be maybe 1 if I played a little bit better. I remember losing one of the games for 1 damage that I missed on turn 1, and the game took 12 minutes. And in the end I lost by 1 life because my opponent was at 1 and I couldn't kill him for like 3 tries. So yeah, there were a few games like this, but it wasn't like misplaying, it was not being super perfect. Like I could squeeze this 1 extra damage during 10-minute game. This was the kind of, better that we are talking about. Other than this, I really think we snatched a lot of wins, and I'll be honest, we played so many against the same people. Like Guran, I think I played this guy like 10 times. Yeah, a lot of those players were someone I've been seeing between 5 and 10 times. So I already realized that my MMR, sorry, I cannot speak, but I hope you understand. I knew already that my MMR needs to be insanely high because I kept seeing the same people and they were playing perfectly. Like they were really top tier Mythic players. And yeah, I was waiting for each matchup for like 1.5 minutes. So, when you cannot get matched with anyone and you get the same guy over and over, you know that probably there's not a huge selection. So yeah, at that point I knew that we are probably getting super high ranked. All right, I hope you guys enjoy. Tell me in the comments whatever comes to your mind. Sorry for rambling, but I'm pretty excited. So yeah, I hope you're proud of me and I hope you had a great time watching the video. It is me, Sloth, the editor. All right, I'm after sleeping, and it's much better as you can probably hear. I wanted to give you this original footage of me after all of those games. So we'll go. We went through the stats. I watched everything, and I just wanted to add that look at the mirror. Like we actually performed pretty nicely in the mirror matchup, and against Monolith we absolutely crushed them, which wasn't easy to be honest. Very often they were on the play. I felt like I'm usually on the draw with this deck, and it felt absolutely hopeless. However, we still beat them by a fair margin. And something I wanted to mention, because in my after the games commentary, I didn't really address this one, because you might be curious. If you are so good at Magic, why is it only 57% win rate? So bad. Just a control player trying to be an aggro player. Truth to be told, win rate isn't a perfect measure. That's why I usually don't like those win rate stats, because I don't really think they give a full picture. Why? If you win against absolutely horrible player at the bottom of Diamond 4, this is worth the same as beating first player in the world. It's one tick in Diamond. So generally I was playing very quickly against extremely good players. There were no misplays. Sometimes you see those silly aggro players forgetting to attack, something like this. I think it happened once, twice, or three times during 250 games. But when I started ranking up and actually grinded, like after 100 games, I never got a free win based on my opponent playing bad Magic. Like, they never made mistakes, and to be honest, they were so good they actually waited between triggers just to stack at the last moment. So no, when I attack, they never use the spell. After the blockers were declared, before the damage, then they react. Every single thing was fully optimized and trying to mind trick me. So you could already tell they were really good players, and they usually were playing the same deck as I was, either Mono-Red or Boros. So to be honest, like, there wasn't a room for free wins. This was a very fair battle against, honestly, probably highest mythics right now. Especially that, keep in mind, all the games were on day 1 and day 2 of the reset. So I'll be honest, it feels like the most tryhards, hardcore mythic players were just grinding. And I think that generally is positive selection. So probably the people that rank for 8 hours are probably the ones that are the highest mythics. So that would make sense, and in my opinion, that is the reason, because normal win rate for this deck is around 60.5%. So I'm a little bit below, but given the rank we were getting, you can see where the difference lies. We would absolutely smash worst players probably, but against best players in the world right now in the arena, it's hard to get some crazy win rate, because they don't make mistakes and they play exactly the same deck as you are, except sometimes different version. One thing I didn't really mention, I think, at least right now, because I'm not finishing the full video, so I'm not sure what exactly will be in it. But I want to talk about those things, because this is a little bit of a serious, video. We roast aggro decks, but they are tier 1 decks right now. They are the most popular on the arena, and I think we have a good moment to just, analyze the real situation and, be a bit competitive about all of this. So I wasn't playing the highest win rate version of Boros. That was not the best result you can get. There was a version with like 1.5% higher win rate, but the games were longer. I took it because I didn't want the highest win rate. I took it because I wanted highest time efficiency. So games per hour, basically, with enough win rate to rank up quickly. So I sacrificed this 1.5% on the version of the deck, just to get faster games. So keep it in mind as well. So if you use their other version, it would take more than 19 hours, but the win rate would be probably like closer to 60%. I think the version that was highest win rate used veterans. And yeah, I think my idea right now is that we will go into the deck list and we'll actually talk in depth how to play Boros, hopefully perfectly, or at least close to, because I really learned a lot with those 50 games. And while we are always making jokes because Boros players usually just attack and do nothing else, you can make, you know, a lot of small plays that will make a small difference, and we'll go through them. So if you want to be a master of Boros, I think this will be a good segment for you as well. So let's go. Alright guys, and now, something you never expect you will see on this channel. We'll actually talk seriously about how to be the best Boros player for an aggro. Because I'll be honest, I learned quite a lot after playing the games, especially early games. There are sequencings that are a little bit better. We'll actually talk about real high stuff here. And if you want to be a really good Boros player, I think you will get some new knowledge. And you know, we will talk about the cards, which cards I liked, which I feel that didn't perform very well. And yeah, we'll go like very serious talk on this one. So first things first, something I didn't realize about the deck. There's not only like Gleeful Demolition into Knight-Errant of Eos, which is obviously the powerhouse, into Recruiter. I actually didn't realize how big of a role Warden of the Inner Sky has, partially because I'm a control player, right? So most of the time I just don't care, I just kill this creature and it dies to match perfectly, whatever stat it has. However, this is a huge hero for every kind of mirror or creature against creature matchup. Also, it gets basically a partial haste thanks to the ability, and Boros can create so many tokens, like nearly every card is 2 in 1. Epicures, Inspectors, and Reinforcements all are 2 in 1, and especially the 1 mana drops, of course Gleeful Demolition as well, they accelerate Warden so much. Not only you increase your board going super wide with perfect mana synergy, like you spend every point of mana on additional creatures, so you are, you know, on curve. And the fact that you can tap them and instantly give power to the Warden, potentially ending in a 4-5 with Vigilance, is insane, and this will break or like make or break your games. If you are on the play with this, with a good follow-up with this kind of stuff, even without Knight of Eos or just crazy combination of Recruiter, this will give you so much advantage. And the fact that you can always block with the Warden, right? You pump it, it attacks, moment it has Vigilance, the whole game changes. Right now you can be more aggressive with your taps, you can pay more mana for Knight-Errant of Eos, because you still have this to tap and, you know, sorry, not to tap, but to defend you. And there is a timer on your opponent, depending on how much, depending on how much you can be aggressive, because the wider your opponent has board, the less you can tap. You have seen in the video, I believe, some situations when we are Boros against Boros, nobody is attacking, and nobody can pay even for like those 3 creatures to pump the Warden, because whoever taps the creatures means that he cannot defend the huge swing with Recruiter, Reinforcements, this kind of stuff, and he will die. Always in Boros mirrors you need to count the creatures like crazy. One of the good things is Boros is great at defending Boros. Recruiter has so much potential to just pump everything to oblivion. However, your 1-1 will block a 2-1. And there's no downside, like you still trade 1 for 1, so Recruiter actually doesn't change the math on the trades most of the time, and that means that as long as you keep enough creatures to keep blocking the 2-1s of your opponent, you get the same value. They don't really get much from the Recruiter, which means that Boros against Boros is much more defensive, and Warden is the way you break the even out. The second way is War Leader's Call card that has some upsides and has some drawbacks. This gives toughness, which means that whoever has this and is the first to attack will get generally better trades. If you attack first, on one side you will kill your opponent first, because he counterattacks on the next turn, you survive usually, and that means you can follow up with a huge swing that will be lethal. And that means they are usually forced to respect it and trade at least partially. Which means they need 2 1-1s to trade for your 1-2-2. You know, it kind of sounds boring in a way, but you know, if you are going in depth, that's how you can break the matchup if the boards are stale. And when you get them to lethal range and you force the trades, then it gets spicy. Then you suddenly get the value that you needed to break your opponent fully. So That is like the first thing that really came to my mind. Second, case of the Gateway Express. This is a weird card, I'll be honest. It can win you so many games. This is basically your only removal in the whole deck. You have three removal cards, and you know how important it is. The only way to kill the Warden or this Knight of Eos. The second thing about this card, very often your opponent has exactly calculated blocks, especially that Boros generally doesn't play removal. That means your opponent doesn't really go defensive with one extra creature, because you will remove something, like you play against Dimir. They generally count exactly. And that means Case can break their whole strategy very often. And not only this, when they leave this one Knight of Eos to block and you break it, not only you get great attack, but you also probably can attack with 3 1/1s, which means this flips on the same turn. So in some situations, the card will instantly win you the game, and I won plenty because of it. However, on the other side, against control, this is a pretty bad card. You don't get the chapter 1, and +1/+0 is okay, but it still dies to lockdown. It means that you need to waste full turn on basically not playing a creature, and you have a timer. If you are playing against control, you have timer on turn 3 and 5. Lockdown and Sunfall. You need to make huge plays before that, and if you don't kill your opponent in that time, he probably will win, because then he casts Memory Deluge, gets the Emperors, and starts to live gaining, so you cannot kill him anymore. Especially that, contrary to aggro, like Mono-Red, sorry, I use those terms like for the same thing. Mono-Red can burn your opponent, so if they lack this last reach of 5 damage, they can burn them. With this deck, you cannot really finish your opponent. I guess the closest is War Leader's Call and Mirrex, and casting Resolute Reinforcements at instant speed into Creature, Recruiter, and full swing. So those are some of the ways you can sneak this lethal, and honestly, Sokenzan is way better than you think. This card won me actually quite a lot of games. Channeling means it cannot be countered. Nobody really expects this extra damage, and if you combine it with War Leader's Call, this is a 4/4 with haste that deals 2 damage, so it's exactly 6 extra damage with haste. Your opponent very often won't sweep 1 or 2 creatures, which means that if you Sokenzan at the end step and then play something like Recruiter into Resolute Reinforcements, you can swing so hard, you can deal like 12 damage out of nowhere. So like those are the first things. Of course, the biggest deal is going on the play with Warden. You want Warden and get those crews going, so we can start, double activating it. And of course, if you have Gleeful Demolition into Knight of Eos, this is how you get this insane win rate. Those games generally are auto wins. If you're on the play with good curve and you don't get tap lands in any way, you should win the game generally. Something I've noticed after playing, like Mirrex won me some games, but very often it wasn't great, and the fact that it doesn't provide mana after first turn hurts. It gives you some room to just switch mana, name caverns differently, like usually you can sometimes figure out how to sneak around it, but I wasn't like super crazy happy about Mirrex. I guess it works with the Gleeful Demolition and Call, so it's give and take. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I really didn't like Thran Portal, to be absolutely honest. We play one of them, but with the amount of mirrors we are facing, like I was so scared to tap this thing, man. Like it's nowhere close to Painlands because you can use them for chorus mana very often. This always hits you, and especially if you are on the draw, man, you will get so much damage from this. Like 4 or 5 damage during the game can be an issue, and you don't have great situation against aggro mirrors. So yeah, I honestly probably would switch it. Cavern of Souls, of course, great, and yeah, fast lands will make this deck definitely better. Sometimes as you can see, we play 4 of the pain lands because we want maximum mana split, and also we don't want the tap land. Sundown Pass cost me a few games. When you play it on turn 1, very often you cannot make your full combo, because if you play this on turn 1, I believe you cannot play Knight-Errant of Eos with Gleeful Demolition and the white card and another white card, which you can do if you have this extra point of mana. So it makes the actually huge difference. Your board is smaller, so sometimes it gets you, but that's why we only play 2. So I'm not sure if there's and the War Leader's Call. This is probably the last card I really wanted to talk about. I've seen versions without it. I personally kinda like it, but it always feels slow. The fact that Recruiter kinda does the same thing for one turn, but it adds additional 3 damage on board is kinda huge, and very often I was in the situation when I had those 2 cards and I just never played the call because it was always worse. However, if your opponent sleeps on one of the turns and he's a little bit slow, when you get this really solidifies the kill. I think it's a good card overall. I liked it, and I think the extra damage that you can sneak is worth it most of the time. It's very hard to cast. After you mulligan, sometimes you just dump this card because this is probably the most situational one. And if you are on the draw, you'll probably never use it unless your opponent fully whiffs on one of the turns. So I think the last thing that I wanted to talk about with this deck is taking mulligans. I actually didn't realize how important taking mulligans with this deck is, because that's basically the whole strategy. The deck doesn't have too many decisions, you always have the same patterns. You try to Gleeful Demolition as soon as possible and play enough stuff so the Warden gets as many, +1/+1 counters as you can. Then you try to play Knight of Eos, go white, and that's kinda always the strategy, and you don't really deviate from it. That means that what you have in the first 2 turns will usually decide who wins. I actually realized that if you are on the draw, you probably cannot keep hand with 3 drops and lands. You can sometimes draw, 1 or 2 drop, but it just feels risky to count on this. I lost a lot of games because of this kind of decision. So I honestly think that if you are on the draw especially, you need to mulligan for 1 and 2 drops. Like, you just need this crazy synergy of Demolition, Warden of the Inner Sky, tapping stuff, and that really gives you this extra power that you need to survive being on the draw. So yeah, I mean, I know a lot of you is super surprised because we are just, jokes aside, going super serious on how to play the deck, because after 250 games, I feel that, I think we can have a serious discussion on this one. Also, you can ignore all of this and play a lot of games, and it will still result in Mythic. However, it won't be probably top 10 or anything like it, because there are so many Boros players that the deck itself won't carry you as much. Like, it will carry you to Mythic, but not to like high numbers probably, unless you know what you are doing. And yeah, I mean I think there's the last thing. Remember, you need to identify what deck you are playing against, and the most important information is, does this deck run a sweeper? If they don't run a sweeper, you go basically as wide as possible forever. You can Knight-Errant of Eos into Knight-Errant of Eos, just keep enough blockers so they cannot kill you. And just keep doing it until you run out of cards. And then they will lose sooner or later. And this is the reason why we have such insane win rate against Mono Black, because we just go wider than them and they cannot really attack, and we can full swing and they don't have enough blockers. They can block like 2 to 4 creatures and you have 11. And then they die. So yeah, however, if you play against any kind of deck that runs sweepers, you just need to get the value when you can, reload for the next wave, and try to get everything with haste together with Recruiter on one of the turns. So leave this one artifact, leave one Gleeful Demolition and Reinforcements at the end step, and then you stack all of this. Reinforcements at the end step, Gleeful Demolition into Recruiter, and suddenly you have what? 10 damage with haste, 13 damage with haste, out of nowhere. And this is extremely important when you predict they will sweep your board. That means you generally want to have open mana, make this kind of end step play, and follow up with everything with haste. Preferably also have the call set up, so the big turn is also turn 6, because that's usually when they can answer with a farewell. There are marches, so it's not set in stone, but generally, man, I'm talking so much for aggro, but I'm actually, trying to do my best to give you the knowledge I learned during all of those games. Like, if you can set it up, usually, if your opponent is at 5 mana, you know that this will probably survive, which will mean that if you do the same thing with Recruiter Reinforcements and Gleeful Demolition, not only you swing for 13 damage, but you also deal 6 extra damage. So, I mean, this is enough to kill them on the spot, even if they cast a Sunfall. So if you have time to set up like this, that will give you a win after a sweeper, and we stole a lot of wins like this. So yeah, I mean, those are, I guess, the basics of the deck. And guys, tell me in the comments, like, I know it's kind of hilarious that I'm just talking about Boros in a serious manner and, you know, just showing, wow, this deck is so complicated, because the truth is in between. You can play this deck at the most basic level and you don't lose much. You will win mostly the same games, because if you're on the draw with a good draw, you will win. However, there will be some games that if you really care about ranking super high or just maximizing the win rate so you don't grind the ladder so long, because 5% win rate can mean 3 hours of grinding less, and this is how you do it. And I hope you will like it, you know. If you are an aggro player, you can tell me in the comments if you agree, because, you know, I played this one deck for a long time. I also played a lot of mono red, so I'm kinda understanding the archetype, I believe, pretty decently. But maybe there's something I missed, so correct me if you find anything that isn't perfect. Alright guys, I think that's it. If you watched all of this, if you watched until the end, like, tell me. I went super crazy on this video and just decided I will tell everything I have to say, even if the video will be like half hour of me just talking on the deck list. And if you survived it, if you liked it, just give me a comment, because I need to know if there's anyone like it. I think it was kind of interesting and valuable, so I'm giving you all this knowledge, so you don't need to grind 20 hours to get the same stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's kinda it for today. I'm looking forward to your comments, and thank you for watching, guys. You're absolutely amazing, and I think we did something pretty cool today. So yeah, you are in the right channel, as you can see. Alright guys, thank you and see you tomorrow.